I just got back from a little hike on my camping trip down here, and I brought this with me. I thought I would share a report with you guys, even if I didn't find any kind of evidence for a Bigfoot down here this time, which so far I have not. It's been uneventful. I haven't heard any vocalizations, found any footprints, or any other evidence that any of these creatures are here right now. I know they have been in the past. Just last March we had quite an evening here, so maybe tonight, I don't know. If I don't get rained out, I'm planning on staying here one more night. But I got a report here, or actually it's a question from one of my subscribers named Mike, and he gave me permission to share this question with you guys, and I'd like to see what you think of this as well. So if you have a thought on the question he's asking here, just put it in the comments. I'm real curious to hear your thoughts on it. And I'll just read his email as it came to me. He said, "Greetings, Dave. Hey, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Just wanted to say hello, make sure you're doing all right. I was listening to some old Sasquatch Chronicles episode on my daily walk the other day, and one of the witnesses proposed a theory, albeit very briefly, and I was just wanting to see if you have heard of this or what you think of this idea. And please forgive me, I do not recall what episode it was. I do know it was one of the older ones. I believe it was around 180-ish. But the idea goes something like this, that once you've seen or had an encounter with a Bigfoot, you are somehow marked or noted in some way that anytime a Bigfoot is around, you will more likely than others who have not had a previous encounter have another experience. I know it sounds bizarre, but there was a bit of meat to this theory, and I've heard similar versions before. But the idea is that somehow you are marked and these beings will know that you know they are there. There's been multiple stories and encounters where two or more people have been in the same place and only one person who happened to have had a previous encounter sees the being, where the witness said that they saw it in clear or mostly clear detail, yet the other parties saw absolutely nothing. I've heard several encounters that are very reminiscent of this, because it seems that a lot of witnesses, and of course not all, but often when a person has one encounter, they often will have multiple encounters. Of course, it's not everyone that sees one, and it's usually people who spend a lot of time out in the environment. But the idea is that somehow you are marked, somehow noted as a precious witness to these beings, almost like they somehow know that they are safe or are more comfortable revealing themselves to the previous witness. And of course, this guy had no theory how you would be marked or identified, but it was an interesting theory. I could possibly imagine a way that they could I couldn't possibly imagine a way that they could all collectively know who has and who has not seen one of them in the past. I mean, they would have to include some kind of psychic stuff, like a psychic connection, and I'm not really comfortable with that theory. Personally, I've not seen any definitive evidence to prove any real tangible proof of psychic phenomenon, but I wouldn't rule it out. I personally would tend to lean more to the more tangible and more rational idea. Yet again, who knows? So anyway, that's a good question. As far as the psychic stuff, I don't know about that. And I'm not discrediting anyone that leans toward that. I haven't experienced anything like that myself. But as far as a person that has encountered a Sasquatch somehow being marked or noted by them and has more of a chance of having another encounter, well, I don't know if marked would be the right word for it, but let's look at it in as in other animals, wild animals. And I don't believe these are animals, so don't take it that way. I think they're very closely related to us. But anytime you are repeatedly in an area, and if you're in the vicinity of something, I think that they would get used to your presence, maybe recognize you, whether it's by scent, by sight. However, we know that uh, some animals can identify a person just by the scent and know if you're uh, familiar or not. But I could see that coming into play with Bigfoot. Say you come to the exact same location over and over again. You've had an encounter and you repeatedly go there. If that Bigfoot, that particular one, I'm not talking about as a group, I'm talking about a particular one you had an encounter with, if it sees you in that area many times, I could see where it would be more relaxed, if that's the right word. So as far as marked, I don't I don't think so. I've seen reports from other people that believe these things are predatory and they mark you and they torment you for the rest of your life. I'm not in that school whatsoever, not even a little bit. I believe if you have multiple encounters and it's in the same location, there's a very real chance that the uh, Bigfoot or Sasquatch that frequents that area may recognize you as a repeat visitor to its territory. And I think that is a very real possibility. And in that regard, I would say, in my opinion, the word that you used that I think would better fit this phenomena would be noted. I think there's a real possibility that you would be noted. Like me, for instance, in this area, I've been coming down here for 20 years now. And I have, up until, I've had many encounters as far as hearing things, seeing evidence, but it was not until last summer that I actually sighted one across a creek from me, and it was not a big one. It was a very small one. It was only, gosh, probably about 4 feet tall. I've shared this encounter before, and it was very brief. It noticed me, noticed it, and it went back into the woods very quickly and very silently. And where this was a lot of brush and stuff. I could not go through silently, and this thing disappeared in the brush without a sound. So right after that, I heard a lot of these chattering vocalizations that were very deep. My impression was, and this is just an impression, that was a juvenile, and those were some maybe older ones getting onto it for being careless and being seen. But in this area over the years, I've found footprints, different sizes of footprints. I've cast a couple that were good enough, I felt, to cast. Witnessed hearing tree knocks, tree structures. I'm not going to put much credence into that because that could be many things. I don't see an X in trees and note that as a Bigfoot marker. That's too easy for that to happen in other ways, like a person making it or just natural. So I don't look for a lot of that. Now I have found what I do believe is possible tree markings in this area, and it was further down, and it was a smaller sapling that about 7 foot up had been twisted and bent over straight down in a way that would not have been caused by weather, and a person couldn't have done it. So I think there's a real possibility that could be a tree marker for some reason. But like I say, over the past 20 years, I've had rocks thrown in my direction. I didn't say at, because when me and my friend Brian Baker, we both witnessed it. A large rock, 25, 30-pound rock, bounced off a tree outside of our camp. If it was throwing it at us, I probably wouldn't be here sitting here talking about it right now. I think it was just letting us know it was there. So, noted, I think I probably am, because of my frequency down here. I come down here several times a year, in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer. And many times I'm down here, it's like right now, I'm by myself. So I think, to answer to your question, marked, I would not use that word. Noted, I think there's a real possibility that familiarity could build up over time, and a very real chance it has with me, and that's why that I've at least heard so many things down here when I'm here. Tree knocks, rocks being thrown. Actually, just right down there, back in 2003, we were walking down this trail, and at that time, there wasn't a camping spot here for hunters. Something was tossing pebbles off of the edge of the cliff at us, not hitting us, but they were hitting around us. So it was letting us know that it was there then as well. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. And it looks like some pretty dark clouds moving in. I was hoping it wouldn't rain me out, and it may not still, but like I said, I'm way deep in here right now, and if it does start pouring down, I'm going to have to get out of here and leave early, but maybe not. I'm going to stay here as long as I can, and I think I'll fix myself some, I said lunch, but it's only about 8:30 in the morning now, so I guess it'd be breakfast. But anyway, hope that answered your question, Mike, and thank you for sending me that email and giving me permission to share it here. If you've got a thought on this, share your thought. It does not have to agree with me. I'm not going to make fun of you for having a different opinion than me. I'm very comfortable with not everybody thinking like me. And this is a mystery that I hope we're all looking at with an open mind. And my opinions, like I'm basing on, to answer this question, are based on my own personal experiences over the years. So that's what these opinions that I have are based on. So take it for what it's worth. Please do share your opinion. If you have a Bigfoot encounter sighting that you would like to share with me or have shared on this channel, just send it to me in an email at bigfootandmore@yahoo.com. That's bigfootandmore@yahoo.com. If you'd like me to share it on this channel, I'd be happy to do so. If you just want me to add it to my database, I'd appreciate that as well. And as always, if you're enjoying this channel, I encourage you, please like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys for watching. And until next time, and if I don't get rained out, next time will be later today. You guys take care and stay safe.